everyone. I'm Larry Ridley, and you're tuned in to Madden 18 on EA Sports. It's hard to imagine this not being a fun game to watch. It's the Saints going up against the Raiders. With that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Larry, EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Bay Area as we welcome you to Oakland, California. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the New Orleans Saints and the Oakland Raiders. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at the Raiders here entering play. They come in off a loss in the opener last week. That one was on the road. Now they get their first taste here of home cooking.
And what they're hoping to do is feed off the energy of the home crowd. Great tailgate, great fan support. Let's see if they can put it to good use.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Saints, they come off a good win in the opener on the road, and they get a second road game here.
Yeah, the schedule makers didn't really do them any favors, but if they can win here and get to 2-0 on the road, they can be well set up for the rest of the year.
This will be fielded at the 8. And a nice return sets them up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Takes this from the 30 to the 34. See if they stay on the ground for second down. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Certainly not the start they were looking for here as they come up on a 3rd and 14.
Here we go. 3-19.
They'll drop to throw. Under pressure again, and down he goes again.
Well, certainly some teams are not intimidated by down and distance on defense, are they? 3rd and very long? Let's go get this guy again. Big-time pressure.
He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. The 30 here. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so.
Now that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've got to hit the jackpot there.
Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the 1st down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the 1st down. That's exactly what they did. That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. And to give this time to the tailback. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. I'm no offensive mastermind, but of all the guys on the field to block, you might want to stop him.
Look, I get a very simple rule. An unblocked defender is usually your best defender, and he ended up making the play there. It's a great job by this secondary. When I watch them, they remind me of elite defenders on a basketball court, right? They want to contest each and every pass.
Great contest on third down to bring up fourth. Back to throw. Robertson. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Boy, a real head-scratcher there. And it'll be a turnover on downs. And, partner, I'm not really sure what in the world they were thinking on fourth and long there at this stage in the game, but you think social media may be firing up a little bit right now?
Oh, the coach is trending right now. Right? There's no doubt about it. People are wondering what that decision was. But it takes me back to a number of years ago. A very successful coach in the league had told himself before a playoff game he was going to be aggressive. No matter what, he's going to be aggressive. And it ran his team into some real problems early, and they got upset in that playoff game. Let's see if this team can recover.
Well, that's aggressive in capital letters with glitter. And down he goes. Brought down a Raider sack. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go. Uh-oh, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Raider offense now making their way toward the huddle. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense. That didn't happen on the last possession. This is a chance for them to pick themselves back up and help their team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recoup and recover. 7 yards to go on second down. Looking to throw. Robertson. Rush coming, and he's taken down.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
And he is going to be knocked flat on his back. Oh, a big hit. Now, remember, they were unsuccessful earlier in this first quarter. Going for it on fourth. They're going to try a second time. They'll try and throw for it here. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 33. And he'll take this back down inside the 20. So possession changes hands on the final play of the first quarter. 7-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. They take over first and 10 in excellent field position here. The Saints put up 29 points a game last year, second only to the Falcons, and they're in range to get some points on this drive as well. First and 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he will find his man on the outside. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown.
I know these wide receivers are about flash and dash and high-flying plays, but a good number of them played running back at some point in their career, and that's how they finish off a lot of their big plays, run after the catch.
And this time he finishes off the big play in the end zone. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This is taken near the 13. And he breaks it all the way out to the 38-yard line. Great return. So out come the Raiders. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board.
Here we go. Here we go.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. It goes as a gain of 8. It moves the chains.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line. A very solid gain of 27.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And they'll get him down here at about the 5-yard line. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal. And this is a guy straight out of college. They're not going to try to groom for a year or two. They want him to produce right away.
That's why they took him in the first round. They expect him to be a starter right away and a future all-pro. So they don't have any time to wait for him to come along. They want him to play right now to help this team.
Really, it's a solid draft class from a year ago. They were able to address some key weak spots. And the Raiders are in for 6. Touchdown. It's their quarterback. His first touchdown of the new season. And the Raiders have cut it back to within a score.
He didn't originally want to run, but he didn't see anything in the passing game, so he scrambled, and wouldn't you know it, he scores a touchdown anyway. It's awfully nice to have a quarterback who can make things happen with his legs.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Out comes this field general once more, leading his offense back onto the field. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well, but the pressure, it's got to him.
Has to find a way to step around it, step through it, or just handle it. Because, as you mentioned, he's having a pretty good day overall. Just the hits keep coming and taking those sacks. That's not the way that they want to finish a ball game with their quarterback on the ground so much.
He'd like to stay upright. When he's been upright, he's been pretty good. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target, and he's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that. And that's what he did.
We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll pay a visit to Larry Ridley in Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report. They'll look to throw here. Looking middle, and that's complete. And he's got the first, but we also have a flag on the field. And they're already walking backwards. Well, they've already allowed 3 sacks in this first half. Now a holding penalty.
So I think drastic measures had to be taken, right? The regular way was not working. He was getting hit almost every snap, it felt like. They had to try and keep him upright.
On 3rd down, that's McDonald. And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of hope. And he's taken down here by the Saints.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. Only a yard on the gain there, and that'll set up 3rd and 13.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. They control the clock.
And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. A big play there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Raiders, they're within an extra point of tying this thing up. And we've got a good one brewing. We're all knotted up at 14. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it ends with an Oakland touchdown. So we're right back where we started. All even as the kick's away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. As it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this up only to about the 33. And prior to this 3rd and 2 play, we're going to get a timeout call. As they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. They'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2. That'll be incomplete as the clock will stop with 14 seconds remaining.
What's the old adage? Be quick but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Now a fair catch called for and made right on the 45-yard line. That'll go for only 17 yards on the punt. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. They go play action here on 1st down. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 35. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. That late in the clock, second quarter, why not just run it a time or two and get it into the locker room?
What you're saying makes absolutely perfect sense. Run it and get out of there. But I'm just wondering if the pressure of today's NFL and the high-powered offenses that you're facing.
That's caught inside the 20. So thanks to the late touchdown, it's a time ball game here. Now you folks don't know what you're missing. Missing Larry Ridley. Ready to get back, though, to this Week 2 matchup. Let's get to it. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. First half showed us some pretty good offense. Tie game. We'll see what the second half brings.
And it'll be interesting because I think both sides feel pretty good about what their offenses are doing. Gotta wonder what adjustments are being made defensively to try and get a spark and maybe slow down the other side.
But here, do you change up anything on this opening drive?
Not offensively, you don't. You've got everything going your way. You've probably prepared for maybe some change-ups you might expect, but overall, you like what your game plan's showing you.
He's going to air one out. It's caught inside the 25. So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. They'll get 2 out of that run, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal. Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence now. Instead of coming right back with a running play, you may have to go to the air.
They get 3 yards closer, but still work to do. It's 3rd and goal. And he's going to go down just outside of the 5, right around the 6-yard line.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
They come out here in the eye. On 4th down, Robertson. The quick slant caught. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. Big 4th down conversion for the score, and the defense, that is a tough pill to swallow.
Big time for them. How about them just deciding to go for it on 4th down? And, okay, forget the field goal, because that looked like an easy 3 points. Yeah, you might have had a defensive breakdown in there, but they pressed the issue and found a way to get it into the end zone. Give them big credit for that.
This will be fielded at the 8. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And some room to roam now. And he'll take it forward for about 5 up to the 28-yard line.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Let's go!
Now back to throw. And the Raiders have got him.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
A hit as he throws there, incomplete. So the numbers have been good in the passing game, and certainly a big reason why they have the lead. But now here, third quarter, maybe go to the run game a little more?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, after that incompletion, a little credit to the defense for shutting them down on that play. Maybe you try and run the football a little bit more in this spot. But
this is caught inside the 15. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. A big play there. With 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Raiders add on to their lead. This offense certainly looking a lot more comfortable here at home. They lost last week in the opener on the road, but there's something about that home opener makes you feel more settled.
Yeah, I wish we could quantify it, too, because you're playing the same game. The field's the same, size. We know all of that. But being at home, sometimes when you do things well, you get that extra push from your home fans, and it elevates your game.
And in the driver's seat right now. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Room here to run. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll bring up what looks to be a 3rd and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot.
Look, the first down marker is out there, but sometimes it's hard to find for an offense when they're in a long yardage situation, which usually means throw the football. In this case, they went against the tendency and ran it. And boy, the reward was there. A big pickup. And guess what? It's now 3rd and very short in order to try and pick up a first down. But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. Back now in the East Bay. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Now a play fake here on first down. Going for the deep ball. And that's caught inside the 30. A big play that time for the Raiders. 55 yards. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Give him 12 yards that time and an Oakland first down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. The 4th quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is it bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like him? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Out is the Saints offense now as they get ready to take over here. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
so well. Go to something else.
And maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
And down he goes, brought down a Raiders sack.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. They're looking for his tight end on the corner. It's complete. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. They get 16 out of that one, but they'll still need to convert on third. They're giving those short little routes. Tackled him in bounds, too. They're just not wanting to get beat over the top.
Yeah, and if you can't really get downfield, take the short routes. But now you got to have guys who can actually break tackles and increase those gains.
Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave them with a 4th down.
But forget knowing where the first down line was. This defense created their own line of scrimmage. They won every battle up front, and a lot of times that is one-on-one. If you win your one-on-ones enough times, your defense is going to be pretty good. They had more people to the football and snuffed out the play.
He needed 2. He only got 1. And the Raiders with the football now in excellent field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
And in this situation with a lead 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
It's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
Here we go. Let's go.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Raiders add 6 to their lead.
Things are rocking easy here in the 4th quarter. They've got to feel pretty good about this one. Actually, they've got to feel excellent. Tough loss in the opener. No way they wanted to go 0-2.
I don't want to read too much into it, but psychologically, is there something much bigger about 0-2 than 0-1?
Oh, without a doubt, and here's the biggest one. Guys like you and me, all the media, are going to talk about, well, you know how hard it is to make the playoffs when you start 0-2, and that starts to work its way through a team.
And now they're working towards 1-1. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time. But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is that
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. As they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
Green, 39. Green.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They'll look to throw. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man on man. And you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. The Raiders offense now, they trot back out. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup, let him get some time?
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because
blitz coming, and down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Back to throw. Robertson. It's caught inside the 25. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
And to me, that touchdown allows you to start grinning widely on your sideline. I think they pretty much locked this one away.
Yeah, that's the clincher, the proverbial icing on the cake, if you will. Pretty clean and simple there. Just 2 plays. The long pass resulting in the touchdown on play number 2. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest,
don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo.
Exactly. Take a great...
And the Raiders have got him.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
They're going to look to throw. And he's going to go down again. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long.
All right, here we go.
Back to throw here. A fight for the football, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 30. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
And he'll be taken down just shy of the red zone at the 21. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short. Well, they'll take that every time with a lead. 1st down, 4th quarter, getting 8 yards. You love that.
They will take it, and you have to ask the defensive guys, why did you give it? I mean, you know the situation. You're down.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. I tell you, Charles, you play to the final whistle, I get that, but there are a few folks that might not be too happy with that score late in the game with it already well in hand.
You seem a little squeamish about that last score.
I struggle with it. I struggle. But on the other, the argument, I get it, on the other side is, hey, do something about it. Stop them.
I guarantee you, I know who was really excited. Fantasy owners who had them. Hey, listen, get the points for me. They're not worried about hurt feelings or anything like that. That's just new age stuff.
Defense really showing respect to the deep ball here, playing off the receivers. Oh, so close to an interception. Read that beautifully. Got his hands on it, couldn't get it. And it's 2nd down.
Got to be wary of throwing an interception here because the defense knows they're going to get tested deep. That's why they're going to put a couple of extra guys back there to try and prevent that.
Yeah, late in the 4th quarter here, trying to preserve the lead. And that will be incomplete, as time has run out on this football game. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory.